Support your locals, starting with Space Smoke Shop, located on 125 East Pennington Street, Tucson, Arizona.
Space Smoke Shop features local glass, cheap tobacco, and any drink you can think of. They're also a hookah lounge and a venue. Like them on Facebook to keep up with shows, details, and new products.
Every second and fourth Tuesday is Punk Rock Tuesday at Space Smoke Shop, 125 East Pennington Street, downtown Tucson, Arizona. Be sure to tell them you heard about them on the GMR Podcast. GMR, you are listening to the GMR Podcast.
You can hear the GMR Podcast on Stitcher. Stitcher is radio on demand. Download the free app today. Listen anytime, anywhere.
Create custom playlists. Rate and review my show on Stitcher. And over 4 million car dashboards.
On demand and on the go. No downloading, no syncing, and no wasted memory. Don't have Stitcher? Download it free today at Stitcher.com or in the App Store.
GMR! 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 GMR!
Crank everything up. The magic of these essentially pretty weak microphones making it sound all. GMR Podcast, week 65, with only 10 weeks to go until Phoenix ComiCon 2014. That's almost tomorrow. Like last time.
We're all wound up here.
Yeah, there's a little kink here. There we go.
What episode were we just listening to? Episode 7? And there were 11 weeks to Comic-Con?
Yeah.
So...
Or maybe it was 11 and there was 7.
So what episode are we up to?
65. Which means show 75 will be from Phoenix ComiCon 2014. Apparently Cliff will be here for this one. His first appearance on the GMR Podcast.
Wow. Looking forward to that.
Wow.
I haven't seen Cliff in a few years.
Yeah. Pre-podcast.
When did he come out last? What was the date on that? Because I remember we all
wow.
hung out. We went to Pat's.
Yeah.
Get some corn. What did we get? I just got some chili cheese fries. I don't remember what you guys got. Do you get anything?
Probably the chili dogs,
Because
this is a while ago. This is before we'd even gone to any con.
That's one of the things he wanted to do when he came to town was get some Pats.
Yeah. This was, probably 07,
07.
08, somewhere around there.
So where's Ramon? Mr. Ramon Daniel. See, way back in episode 711, that's what we were calling it because it was 7 weeks.
It was episode 11.
That was actually
the
the lost episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, the one that we redid.
Oh, we did redo it. I don't know. That's so last year. Geez, I can't even imagine episode 7 or
You want to know what
11.
we're talking about? Check them both out. They're both up there, along with all the other 64 episodes. Show 63 is now one of the most popular shows we've ever done, apparently. It's skyrocketed up there to hit number 4.
That's
tried
good.
to overtake number 3, but it couldn't.
So what message is that sending?
Well, number 3 is the Phoenix ComiCon podcast, so
Which was a classic.
kind of hard to top that. So before we dive into the meat and potatoes of the podcast, I had a few things that I wanted to talk about.
Cool.
I been meaning to talk about this one item here for a couple of weeks, and I've forgotten about.
He's got notes.
Well, I guess.
He's got a note. That's better than me. I don't have anything.
On April 1st, on I think it's some National Geographic Wild channel, or Is that even the name of a channel? Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, okay. It doesn't sounds okay.
I know I don't get it, but
It's yeah, you got to have a good package, cable package. You want to pick up that one.
there's going to be 3 hours of riff tracks on that channel that night.
Now, what on earth?
They're riffing over these nature programs.
Oh, nature programs.
Yeah.
I see. So we're gonna have to
Somehow or
figure
another
out
find that.
how to watch that.
They're riffing 3 one-hour shows on April Fool's Day. I don't-
April Fools.
I don't think it's going to be a series. I think it's just a thing for
That's
that
next
night.
Tuesday. That's this
Yeah.
Tuesday, depending on when this. Yeah, it's this Tuesday because it's going to come out.
And their next live event is going to be Sharknado. They just announced today, but you know,
Sharknado.
these are movies that riff themselves. It's kind of like The Room. You don't necessarily need a riff track for it, or even Birdemic. That thing was a
No, that was.
whew. Well, that one was.
You know,
maybe that
they-
did need a riff on
That
Birdemic.
that Sharknado. I see you have it in your queue.
Yeah,
over
because
here.
I need to watch Sharknado 2 when that comes out.
Didn't I tell you little Sharknado was. It's pretty stupid. But if you like ridiculous stupid shit, I mean, we all liked Gilligan's Island. We bought into that, right?
Yeah.
Of course, there were a couple hot girls
And they're still showing Gilligan's Island on.
somewhere. They're showing it. Yeah, it's freak. Oh yeah, that's right. They're showing it on TV Land. Mark Brady records it for me.
I thought it might be on one of those, like 9.2, 9.3, 9.4 channels.
It might be.
Uh,
I have trouble picking up those channels because my antenna's broken, first of all, and it's a piece of shit. The entire system, I believe. Like, you have to, if I move the antenna to a correct place, I can pick up some stuff, but so far I haven't been able to get CBS. I haven't figured out how to, it's usually just random. It's just me moving the antenna to get it
Yeah.
out of the way, and
How
all
it
of a
is
sudden.
here. I can't pick up hardly anything either. So I won't be able to pick up this channel because we don't even get this channel in Tucson as far as I know. Retro TV.
I've
It's another
not
one.
heard of it.
It's another one of these channels that shows old
I
television
know.
shows
I
to
know
fill the time up.
On Me TV,
It's like a Me TV, but it's
Jim Cornette loves this guy called Svengali.
oh
Have you
yeah,
heard of him?
Yeah, he's one of those movie hosts.
Yeah.
He's the newest version of
Apparently, they still show those every Saturday night.
yeah.
I haven't been able to pick it up. But plus, I'm not awake at midnight. It's midnight, for God's sakes.
So on this retro TV channel, which 80% of the country gets except us, apparently,
Yeah.
in July they're going to start showing MST repeats.
Cool.
They got 26 public domain episodes, including Hamlet, that they're going to unleash on the public
Wow.
starting in July. So if you live somewhere that gets retro TV, you'll actually get to see MST back on television for the first time in about 10 years. So that's kind of crazy.
Cool. I find out about this kind of stuff from the Tucson Weekly. Like, they just added a channel, like 40, I don't know what, it's like a Mexican station or something, but on this one particular channel, they just show really old fucking movies and shit.
Yeah.
The other night, I was watching Zorba the Greek as I was flipping back and forth on channel 11 and 11.2.
It's good how TV's like that again, where you could flip through and find things like that. So
Like, I think I might have seen that movie when I was a kid, because back when we were kids, it was a movie, so you fucking watched it.
yeah, that's
'Cause
right.
it was on television. Because that was what was on television.
Exactly.
You didn't question it. You just watched it.
Speaking of television, it looks like they're really trying hard to fucking close AccessTucson this time. Why'd you have to use an F-bomb? I don't know. We put an explicit sticker on this. Well, why? Because I'm irritated. That's why. They've been toying with our emotions for years. Since the beginning, it seems like somebody's been trying to take the funding. this time they want to take the funding and sell the building at the same time, if I read it correctly. Either way, go to AccessTucson.org, follow the instructions, and let them know, yes, we still want the place to stay open. It's looking very dire, but how many times have we said that?
The city council doesn't, not since Mayor Volge. That was a long time ago. That's when they built the Ronstadt.
That was a long time ago.
They haven't given a shit about public access. Well, then they got their own station, Channel 12. That'll survive in some way or form.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Because didn't Channel 12 just move into the place, into the building?
They took over the basement, I thought.
So now you're just going to sell the building.
That's a nice building.
It's just a proposal. They haven't said they're going to, but they'd like to. So.
Now this is the kind of thing where Kickstarter or some sort of, something you think would help.
When we go down there, we should tell them, like, look, Kickstarter, Indiegogo.
Find something. Somebody crowdsource it.
Yeah, we can totally crowdsource it.
There must be enough people in the country who are into this sort of shit, right? Not just, obviously, people in Tucson don't seem to make an impact on the city council.
I don't know for sure, but doesn't it function as kind of like a nonprofit?
It is a nonprofit.
Well, then I've seen those be able to do the Kickstarter and the Patreon or whatever it was called, Indiegogo. That is a good idea.
It's better than doing the telethons that they don't even do.
Oh, somebody called me and asked me to mention that they're going to have a raffle for some vehicle Jim Click's giving away that's going to help support Access Tucson. So,
that's cool.
So do something about that as well. What are the plans for all of our shows that are on public access if public access finally does close? It's all going to become a podcast, I think. That's kind of what GMR Podcast, one of the many facets of it, was getting us used to doing podcasts because we kind of knew public access isn't really going to be around much longer. Most of the country's already gotten rid of it. It's old school cable television stuff from the 80s. Everything's moved beyond. It's sad because it's a free speech platform, while as podcasting, we're paying to put this up. It's not very much.
See, now YouTube, if we had our own YouTube channel, from what I understand, the more people who watch your YouTube, they actually kick people money down.
Well, we haven't monetized it yet. But I'm thinking if the studio closes, we're definitely going to think about it because we'll have a bunch of product at once.
And we could have, it's like if public access had the means, I'm sure they would give everyone their own. That was the idea originally. Remember, they had the AB cable?
That's right.
They were sending one cable to your house that was a transmitter. And then you could go either way with that AB cable.
Exactly.
Or with that A cable. I don't remember exactly how it worked. I know that that's what public access used to be on, I think, was on the different cables feed. Originally, you would have to. I'm sure somebody somebody knows all this.
It was back when they were on channel 36 and.
This is the kind of thing that you would like to the history of it. You'd like to get out of that 30th anniversary. It's only been 30 years, and they want to kill it.
Yeah, they really want to kill it.
Only 30 years, and I know a lot of people are like 16, 8 years old. I don't know how old you are. I know we have a young audience. I'm pretty sure of that, right? We get that Sesame Street crowd, and Sesame Street. It's all about iTunes. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but anyway. So 30 years seems like a long fucking time to a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
It is a long time, but that doesn't mean you should shut it down.
If they do, Call Me Crazy and Robert's Show and even Pondo Theater in some form will live on YouTube and or become a podcast. Like if you subscribe to GMR Podcast, and you should. If you're just listening to this one, go ahead and subscribe. Yeah, why not? Make us feel better. Even if you don't listen to it, we see another hit. We don't know any better. We don't know if you turn it off after 1 minute or not. But as I was saying, if you subscribe to GMR Podcast, then you'll get the Call Me Crazy podcast, the Robert podcast, all automatically just by subscribing to one. So essentially, if that place closes, we become our own network. Yay!
Which is
not a horrible thing, but it would be sad to see public access go because
pie and coffee.
Yeah.
Never see Dan Harrigan again. When am I going to run into
when are we gonna
Lisa
run
Horner?
into these people,
right?
exactly.
At the supermarket? I don't know which supermarket she goes to. I'll never see. I'll never see any of those people again.
And where do they
Kevin?
relocate the equipment to? Yeah, when are you going to see Kevin Sloan? At least Facebook is there, and I have connect with some of these people that way. But still, that's our monthly thing. We go down there, and we do a program. And
Does Kevin like us on Facebook?
I think he does. Yeah.
Oh, nice. And so our power grows.
Yeah, GMR Podcast on Facebook now. It's growing. It's another way to find the show. We want to make it as easy as possible for everybody to find the program and listen to it. So we've put up like 7 different routes.
When we go to Comic-Con, we're gonna post all sorts of pictures and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll feel like you're at Comic-Con. Maybe we can give some live.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can like record stuff and put it up there real quick.
We
like,
can.
hey,
Yeah, we can. If we can record a small something into the tablet, you can take that and through the Wi-Fi upload it right to our YouTube page. So
cool.
yeah.
Cool. Or our Facebook page, you mean?
Well, all of it.
Okay. Well, I'm not the tech guy.
You can upload video right to YouTube. That is true. Yeah. I mean, right to Facebook. Of course, to YouTube.
Have to get an Instagram account too. Make everybody. We'll have
we
5,000 things we got going on at once.
We haven't done Instagram yet, and I shy from that one because we're not really photo oriented. It's a podcast. This show doesn't even have an image to it. If you listen to it on YouTube, you get to see the logos for a half hour.
Yeah.
That's something.
We got new business cards.
Yeah. They look kind of like the old business card, but they have more information crammed onto it.
It's a bigger card. They needed to.
That's true.
They needed to widen the card.
They did. You can see a little bit more of the bottom of it, I noticed. Minute details.
I had one of the old blue cards, the only card I had, and I was at the Riley's, the pizza and pub.
Those are vintage cards.
I was gonna put it on there, but then I saw the exact same design on somebody else's card.
Oh yeah,
that was more appropriate.
Oh,
So
that's
I had to do
funny.
with, like plumbing or something.
It would look like we were a parody of somebody else's card.
Exactly.
And these are vintage, but at the drop of a hat, I could order more.
Woo!
Speaking of which, that box there, if you need more cards, just grab some out of that box. I got some Jean cards in there, too. They're not doing me any good. Let's pass those out, right? It seems like you always need a card to give to somebody for something. So I figure, why not? And then we need more, we'll order more.
Comic-Con, we should just
Do a new design or something, mix it up. Yeah, those are leftover Jean cards from last year's Comic-Con, so I figure, hey, let's start throwing those out to anybody.
So I think we could get away with putting them up at Comic-Con. I don't think anybody's going to be like, no, these aren't official.
Yeah, nobody cared.
Nobody's going to care because it's fucking Comic-Con.
Yeah, there's too much
There are
madness
a lot of
going on.
Nazis running around there looking, hey, what are you guys doing? You shouldn't be doing that. There are a couple of those guys.
Yeah, that's if you start going to the seedy after-hours places and
Well,
starting to stick out a
like in
little
the
bit.
daytime, this guy was like all telling me I have to fucking move. I have to get out of the way. I'm like, I'm just standing here.
Wow.
I'm not going anywhere, dude.
Well, some people think they own the universe, so...
No, I had a stick. I figured fucking leave me alone, dude. You can't be fucking with me. Plus, where the fuck Steve-O go? Oh, it turns out he was right there. Like, fuck.
Yeah, like you were saying, Comic-Con is usually a stressful environment.
Yeah.
This year, that should not be the case.
Hopefully.
The plan is do whatever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read some comics before I go to Comic-Con.
Oh, so you're caught up on everything.
No. Actually, there's that big stack of Conans he gave me.
Ah,
I only read about half of them.
You know, back in the day, if there had been a Comic-Con, I would have gone to it, and I would have known who all the artists
Oh, yeah.
and authors were. I'd know every single one of them, and I'm so far out of the loop because
If we
comics
had gone
became
when
so
we were
expensive.
15 or 14
Yeah,
or 13.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to, that was all I just wanted comic books. I've told this story. You ride your bike from one store to the next Circle K because they didn't have the same comic books at this Circle K as they did at that one.
It was a hunt. We didn't have the internet. You had to physically
or
look
you could
for
go to
this
that
stuff.
comic book store, and there were only like 2 comic book stores, and they weren't close to your
Yeah,
house.
they weren't close to me, and I wasn't allowed to take the bus yet, so I wasn't going there.
I rode my bike
I could go to Safeway and 7-Eleven.
one time, and it was an adventure. I rode my bike from
Maybe Circle K.
Romero, Prince and Romero to Campbell, and
Wow.
by where the theater used to be.
When you're a kid, that's
that
a
intersection,
long way on a
that's
bike.
where Fantasy Comics was.
Yeah.
And that was like a big trip, That was like a big deal. If
That was the Mecca
your
back
mom,
then.
if your mom, somebody took you to the comic book store, that was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
You knew what you wanted. I'd buy the price guides just so I could know what comics there were.
Yeah.
Old price guides at the bookstore, because they'd have pictures of the comics in them.
So I was getting my pre-order catalogs
And
every
then
month.
you had kind of an idea what your comic was worth.
You remember that? I was getting those black and white pre-order catalogs every month there for a while.
Yeah, see, like you like Robert used to have all these pull lists, right? And the guy would just get him all his comics.
Yeah. Well, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
If I had been in my 30s 25 years ago and been a hardcore comic addict, that's how I would have done it then. I would have bought everything because they were only 65 cents a piece.
I think by the time
And you get your discount.
back when I had my house set up like a comic book store,
That's right.
Comic books were pretty popular back then. It wasn't that as hard. There was like comic book stores all over the place.
That's when they were starting to get that major resurgence, and it had a lot to do with Image Comics coming out, Spawn. So we can thank Todd McFarlane for that.
That first episode, the first issue with Carnage, remember that was supposed to be like the shit?
Yeah, there was a lot of shit going
instantly
on.
like tripled in price.
When Deadpool first came out, you can say you remember when Deadpool was brand new. To me, he's still brand new.
You bought trading cards. You were like, wow, these are worth, and they're worth so much money, like instantly, right?
Back then they
You
were.
find that fucking hologram card. You know what you should have done? Turn that over immediately.
Well,
You
that's
shouldn't
the
have
trick
sat
of the
on
trade.
it.
That's
You
when
sitting on it
sell
was
it when
ridiculous.
it's hot. It's not,
But
Hulk issue 1.
But you thought somehow that was going to be worth more money someday because
You
you
hoped.
have those holograms from the fucking what the hell was it called? I don't even remember.
I learned pretty early on that if it wasn't
Olivia, those Olivia cards.
Ah, yeah. If it wasn't an old school book that was, really sought after, it's something that's hot for the moment. Sell it immediately if you
It
get
got
it.
so crazy because they
Like
started.
my first appearance of Cable I had, that thing was worth $bucks, and then nobody cared and it went down.
See, first appearances, those are always a good buy. But then the comic book, there was like so many fucking comic books and so many fucking covers. Buy this cover with the fucking latex. Buy the fucking 3D cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's when I dropped out because it was too much. $6.
The
I was
Age
used
of
to paying
Apocalypse. That's what
65
killed me,
cents.
dude. I had
all those little holograms that were on the cover of the book.
I had every one of those Age of Apocalypse with the fucking.
See, it was out of control. I guess somewhere in our
I
brain we
tried.
thought they're not going to put out anything else like this ever again. No, next month they're going to have a whole new series of shit you got to collect 7 issues of. It was never going to stop.
Like crossovers, for instance.
You know what's funny about all that?
I used to love that shit though, like Infinity Gauntlet.
We all stopped buying that shit at the same time, and the books in the mid-'90s are worth the money because everybody wasn't buying at that time because they were so expensive and they had that big crash of comics.
Comics are like $6 now.
It's nuts.
5, 6, you know.
I still collect my vintage Marvel Star Wars, and that's about it. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I'm after. I found that book there. It's a small black and white reproduction of some Marvel Star Wars. The stories that make no sense at all.
Nice. Yeah. That's the way to buy comics these days. I wouldn't buy them to collect them.
Wait until they put out the graphic novel.
Everything they, you know, if they make like 7 or more issues, they turn it into a trade, you know, trade paperback.
And it's so bizarre because the old comics we used to buy issue by issue, you can now buy those trade paperback collections and just be like, bam, there, it's on my shelf like an actual book. You can read it and not have to worry about destroying the pages and shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit, GMR.
What's that say, 27 or 21?
And now it's time for the after show.
And we're back.
Hey, it's the after show.
Oh, that's 27.
It
And I didn't say shit that many times, but then I said it again.
You just said it again.
10 weeks.
Shit.
I'm getting excited.
Shit, I guess.
10 weeks to Comic-Con. It's
Comic-Con.
amazing. I can't wait. There's no agenda this year, so
Cliff.
it'll be a lot more laid back. Cliff will be there. That'll be crazy.
Crazy will be there.
Crazy will be there.
Maybe Mark Brady.
Mark Brady should be there. I mean, he's got a ticket.
He's got a ticket.
And if he doesn't go, well, it'll just make it easier for Cliff
got a
to
ticket
have
to
room in the
ride.
room.
He could, yeah. This year you're bringing the air mattress and the
Oh,
pump.
yeah, and a pump.
Just
That
in
was
case.
The important thing. That's why it didn't get used, because nobody wanted to sit there and blow the thing up.
Hopefully we get
Can
our
you blame them?
smoking room and there's
Hopefully
no
we
mess
get the right
up.
room, yeah.
Oh, maybe
Gonna
even better if we
really
get the
try to make
balcony.
sure this time. Yeah. I'll call and request and really get on their asses, and because last year I didn't do anything, and that's what we ended up with. So
Yeah, well, if you don't bitch, you know, those people that bitch, they get whatever the fuck
That's
they
right.
want, right? You're a paying customer.
That's right.
God damn it, I paid money for this.
yeah, we did months and months in advance before we even knew who anybody was going to be there.
You know, we had that room reserved.
we knew.
You can't give that room to somebody else. We had that reserved.
4 years of doing this now. We
You're
know
just
it's going to be
have
awesome.
You're just going to
so
have
we
to
go.
move them to another room. That's all you're going to have
That's
to
right.
do because we've reserved that room.
You gave our room away.
It's a simple matter of that, I would think.
Not this time.
But it isn't like we're the notorious hard asses. We're the kind of guys that they take our room. Fucking assholes. They say some bullshit like, oh, we'll give you this and we'll give you that. The roll-out beds. So.
The rollout bed saga next week on the
Yeah.
GMR podcast. Rehashed once again.
We were supposed to have 2 shining beds, weren't we?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the right room. so-
Anyway, you're sleeping with Brady this year. That's all I'm saying.
Power naps. You know.
You or Cliff, you guys got to flip for it.
I'll take the air mattress. Shit. Well, we'll figure it out when we get there. How about that?
All right. Well, we got 10 weeks.
We
We'll
do
figure
have
it
10
out.
weeks.
And yeah. Woo! GMR Podcast.
GMR. 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 GMR.